So why are taxes being implemented? There's a simple public health logic for sugar tax, and it's this. By implementing a sugar tax, the product price increases, which in turn should deter the consumer from purchasing that product, and that will lower the consumption of this high sugar product. As a result, this reduced intake of calories is believed to positively impact on the incidence of obesity, diabetes, and other chronic diseases associated with excess sugar consumption. The economic justification of sugar taxes is that illnesses from obesity add unnecessary costs to the government budget for national health systems. But do sugar taxes work? How do producers and consumers react to these taxes? So several studies reported that the implementation of sugar soda taxes has reduced sugar consumption. So from the slide you can see that both a study in Hungary and a study in Mexico reported that purchases of taxed products had declined, which as a result declined in the consumption of these products. However, there's two things to note. These are only two studies, and the effectiveness of sugar taxes is still being debated today. They are suggesting the general public and health professionals are saying that there is no clear-cut evidence supporting it as a mechanism to influence consumer diet and consequently limit sugar intake. And another note is that even if, for example, in Hungary and Mexico, sugar intake has decreased, the incidence of obesity is still increasing across the globe, including in Mexico and in Hungary. So it's important to also highlight that sugar reduction does not necessarily equate to calorie reduction. So why do taxes not always work? A fundamental principle of economics is the law of demand. The more expensive a product gets, the less demand there is for it. However, this does not always happen, and sugar taxes have resulted in unexpected consumer behaviours and choice. So sugar taxes have altered patterns in both the food industry as well as the consumer behaviour. For example, consumers can just choose cheaper brands of the same product, meaning their intake of calories remains the same as before the tax. Cross-border shopping has been reported, where consumers will travel to a neighbouring country to purchase the original product. Companies can decide to absorb the tax and increase at source themselves. Consumers may simply adjust to pay more for the product due to brand loyalty and taste preferences. So there is continuing and increasing pressure on implementing sugar reduction practices. For example, Public Health England has targeted the UK food industry with reducing sugar in products by 20% by 2020. And EFSA will be providing scientific advice on the daily intake of added sugar in food by early 2020. Food and drink manufacturers are being encouraged to consider three approaches to meeting sugar reduction targets, especially in the UK. One is reformulation, to reduce the sugar content in the product. Two is reduce portion size to lower total calorie and sugar content. And three is reinvention, to introduce healthy alternatives to incentivize consumers to buy these products. So consumers interact with labels in three ways, and these three aspects are as important as successful reformulation to ensure consumer acceptance. When it comes to labelling, consumers are now looking at front of pack and back of pack for information about the product. When it comes to the ingredient deck, consumers lack trust about certain ingredients, so they check the ingredient deck to see what is present in the food product. The consumer decides if something is acceptable for themselves. And third, consumer education is key to remove barriers such as consumer misinformation and mistrust. There are three factors that have been identified in this pillar, and that would be ingredients, sustainability, and nutrition. Now, we have a little quiz for you. There are two products on this slide with a summary of their nutrient profile. Label 1 has 10 grams of sugar per 100 ml, 42 calories, 11 grams of carbs and 0 protein. Label 2 has 10 grams of sugar, 49 calories, 14 grams of carbs and 0.3 grams of protein. Which product would you choose given the information here? Do you know which one is better for you? Well, here's your answer. Label 1 was carbonated soft drink, and label 2 was 100 grams of apple. As you can see, these products are considered very different by the consumer. One is healthy and natural, and the other as an indulgence. So what's important to consider is when reformulating or formulating a product and focusing not just on sugar reduction but calorie reduction, don't forget to step back from the label and ask the following questions. Does my product taste great? Will it satisfy the consumer's hunger? Will it help meet consumers' nutrient goals? Will it offer fortification? Consider portion size. And does the product contain added sugar? There is a holistic approach to tackling obesity. So have sugar and soda taxes positively impacted on obesity across the globe? To date, there is no evidence. Now, it is important to bear in mind that the taxes have recently been implemented in an awful lot of countries, so the evidence may show in a number of years' time. However, currently there is no evidence because obesity is continually on the rise over the past 2 decades. In 3 to 5 years' time, we may have a different story. It's important to highlight obesity is not solely caused by the excessive consumption of sugar. It's a multifactorial issue, and source of calories is key to when it comes to tackling global obesity, as well as education, reformulation, portion guidance, and portion downsizing. So to conclude, sugar taxes are here to stay for the time being. It'll take time to find out whether they really do work and have a positive impact on obesity. For manufacturing, reformulation and reduced portion sizes are the 2 main areas of opportunity. It's important to consider total calories and source of calories, which are the key drivers for healthier alternative options for the consumer. And now